Hello friends, and thank you for visiting the SEDM website and watching this video training on forum, profile management, and private messaging. This training will take approximately 15 minutes. What you have in front of you is the opening page of the SEDM website at sedm.org, and we have it open in the Microsoft Edge web browser that is part of Windows 10. We will begin this discussion by explaining that there are three levels of membership in the site. There is a guest user who has no permissions to log in or to view information about other members or any of their profile information. There is a basic member who can view his own profile, communicate with other members. Basic membership is free, by the way. And then there is a member subscriber who signs up for that status through the member bookstore. A member subscriber is a superset of a basic member, so they have all the same permissions plus more as a basic member. But for the last two membership levels we just described, that is a basic member and a member subscriber, you have to log in to the site in order to access services available only to those membership levels. On the opening page, you can tell whether you're logged in because in the upper right corner here, you'll see a login prompt. If that prompt appears, that means you are not logged in. And you have to log in before you can view your profile, communicate with other members, send private messages, or access services available to your membership level. If you aren't on the opening page, you can also go up to the menus on the top here and you'll see that there's a login entry underneath the participate menu entry at the top menu. If you see that login entry, that means that you are not logged in. Likewise, if you click on the hamburger menu on the right, you'll see the side menu, which also shows you whether you're logged in or logged out. And this menu is context sensitive and changes depending on what you're doing. So if you're logged in, you'll see a log out entry here to log out. So let's close the hamburger menu. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to log in as a test user to access member profile information. And by the way, if we look on all of our menus here, we can see that there are a lot of entries here that only are accessible to those who are logged in. And everything with an asterisk at the end of the name here, the activism map, the members list, the community calendar, the site activity, all those things and other things on various pages like free legal treatises, all those things require you to be logged in to access. And in some cases, not only must you be logged in to access, but you must also be a member subscriber, and that would be true of anything on the references menu here that says member subscriber or member subscription. So if you see member subscriber or member subscription in front of the name, that means you not only have to be logged in, but you also have to be a member subscriber who's logged in. But everything on the participate menu here is available to basic members. And as we said, basic membership is absolutely free, and it's always been free. So the first thing we have to do is log in. Hit enter, and that will log us in as the test user. And now that we're logged in, we can see that the upper right corner here changed, and now it shows who's logged in, test user. And we can click on this entry here and log out, or if we also want to log out on the hamburger menu, we can click on that and select log out over here. We also go over to the participate menu and we can see that the login entry is gone. That's another way to know that we're logged in. This is convenient. On the right hand side, this hamburger menu is convenient because it takes us directly to things that pertain to our account. Our messages, orders, groups that we're members of, friends, activities that we're participating in, notifications, that is private messages from other people, the forum posts that we've made, information about our account. We can also log out, and we can also look at our profile. We can go to our profile in one of two ways. We can either click on our name in the upper right-hand corner here on the opening page at sedm.org to look at our profile, or we can click on Profile over here. So let's click on Profile because we're discussing how to edit our profile and how to send private messages. And in both cases, we could get into that profile area. So we'll click on Profile on the right here in the hamburger menu. And that will open up our profile. There it is. So this is where we can see absolutely everything that pertains to the site and us. We can see the activity that we've engaged in. We can look at our own profile. We can look at all the orders that we place through the store. We can see notifications from other people. Like for instance, we would see orders. Under notifications, we would see notifications of the status of our orders. We would see messages that other people have sent us, warnings about messages that other people have sent us. We would also see notification because somebody replied to one of our posts here. We can also see private messages or public messages sent by other members right here, and you see a non-zero value here if you had one of those. You could see all your friends on the site, the groups that you're members of, the forum activity that you've engaged in, and additional menu entries over here on the right. And a lot of these are basically the same thing as you'd see in the hamburger menu here. So you can go directly to them over on the right hand side, or you can go open up your profile and click on them here. So let's close the hamburger menu on the side here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the actual profile. So we'll click on Profile, and this is where we see our profile information. And ordinarily, when you first sign up for a free basic member account, the only thing you're going to see here is just the name of the user. And if you want to see more information there about yourself, you have to actually enter it yourself. And the entrance of that information into the system is voluntary. It's not compelled. It's not required. It's not mandatory. And so you can see that this particular test user has voluntarily entered information about themselves. And all of this is non-personal information. It basically identifies the county, the city, the zip, and the state they're in, but it doesn't say their real birth name or their phone number or their address. And we do that on purpose. We just want basically generic information about who they are and what their interests are as far as the site goes. So we have a location information here below their name. We have volunteer positions, that is what sort of things do they want to be involved in on the site. These are questions you would have to answer if you wanted to enter profile information. We can also edit all of this stuff, all this profile information, by clicking on Edit here. So if we click on Edit, we can see that these fields below here become editable. So here they are. So we can enter a description, a signature. We can click on the location information that we saw on the previous page, and that will allow us to specify our country, state, county, city, and zip, and save changes when we're done. We can click on the volunteer positions or information that we want to enter for that. And so we can enter information about, do we want to join a law or freedom study group in our city? Do we want to form our own substitute de jure local county government? Yes or no? And by the way, it indicates the visibility of this answer. And that visibility can be changed. Notice there's a change hot link here. Do we want to attend protests scheduled by other members in our city or county? And have you already established your own law or freedom study group that people can join in your area? Yes or no? Do you want to be a state coordinator or a county coordinator or an activism team leader? So we can, and once again, we can change the visibility of all this stuff to restrict who can view our answers, depending on who we want viewing them. We can also click on change profile photo to enter our own profile photo, which would end up here, right next to our name. And we can drag it over here on the screen and enter it. Actually, this is the cover photo. There's an actual cover photo here and then a profile picture. So the profile picture would appear right here and the cover photo would appear right up here. So you can enter up to 2 different pictures. And in addition, there are other settings you can establish, and all of those would be accessible over here on the right. So if we click on the plus, we can see settings. We'll click on settings, and the settings window opens, and then there's a lot other settings as well. And here they are. And you can see across this horizontal line, you can see there's lots of options here: general, my addresses, email, and profile visibility. So this is where you actually change information about yourself. You can change your password. You can specify your email address. You can, and if you change your password, you have to enter your current password to change it. You can click on my addresses over here. You can save changes when you're done. You can click on my addresses. So, and these addresses are used in the store for billing and shipping. You can enter your email preferences as far as notifications go. And there's lots of options here. You can specify yes or no answers to all these questions. Under activity, a member mentions you in an update using your name. You can say if you want to be notified, yes or no. A member replies to an update or comment you posted, yes or no. A member sends you a new message, yes or no. And if you receive an email, you'd also receive a notification up here and or a message right up here. A member sends you a new message, yes or no. Member sends you a friendship request, yes or no. Do you want to be notified? A member accepts your friendship request, yes or no. And groups. A member invites you to join a group, yes or no. A group information is updated, you'll be notified. And once again, these are email preferences. So you'll receive an email notice in addition to a notification up here. And you are promoted to a group administrator or moderator. Do you want to be notified by email, yes or no? And a member requests to join a private group for which you are an admin, yes or no. And when you're done updating those, you can save your changes. You can also control who can view your profile information. And for instance, a guest user ordinarily would not be able to view any profile information, any of the stuff we're looking at here. So they'd at least have to be logged in. So right now, the only thing a guest user could find out was your name. And that would be your username, not your email address, not your birth name or anything like that. And under location information, you can specify who can view each attribute about your location information. And the options here are all members, only me, everyone, or my friends. If you did everyone here, that would include guests. If you said only me, then nobody else could view it except you. If you specified all members, that means guest users could not access it, but basic members and member subscribers could. If you said my friends, then you could specify that only your friends or people who've accepted a friendship request could view your information. So in that sense, it works a lot like Facebook, where you have to be friends before people can view your page. So you control the visibility of every aspect of your location information. And you can also do the same thing with your volunteer positions here. Do you want to join a law study or freedom group in your city? You can, and right now everyone is specified for all of the parameters. And by the way, entering this information is really important, and as we said, it's voluntary. If you don't enter it, then nobody will know anything about you. And if they don't know anything about you, they're not going to try to contact you. They're not going to try to make friends. They're not going to try and schedule activism events in your area and invite you. You'll basically be a nobody. And so it's important that you go in after you join the site to populate your profile thoroughly, as thoroughly as you can. And you don't need to worry about losing your privacy, because this is all generic information. There's nothing particular to you. There's no address or phone number or email address or anything people can find out about you until you want them to know. And ordinarily you notify them with a message, a private message that you sent them. You wouldn't want to publicly post public information about yourself on the site because that would compromise your privacy, but you might want to share it through a private message with somebody. So after we're done updating this, we can select the Save Settings button at the bottom, and we're not updating it here, so we won't. But the next thing that we need to be able to do is send messages to people. And likewise, if we received a message from somebody else, we'd see a non-zero value here. But let's say we want to send a message to somebody else. Well, first of all, we have to find that person, and we wouldn't find them on this page, so we'd first have to go up here to participate, and we'd have to find the member list to find them, or we might see their name next to a post in the forums and click on it there as well. So let's go to the forums first, and we'll see how we would send a message to somebody who posted a forum message in the forums, like for instance this one. If we wanted to send a message to the person who posted this recent topic in the forums, then we go to that message, we would look for their name right here, SEDM admin, we click on their symbol, and that would take us to their profile. And then we could send them a message through their profile. There it is, there's their profile. Okay, so that's one way we could find them to send a message. If we wanted to find them through the member list, we could go over here to the members, and the asterisks, as we said, mean that you have to be logged in to access that area. And if it's member subscription content, in addition to being logged in, you also have to be a member subscriber. For instance, on the references here, member subscription library, member subscriber downloads. But in this case, as we said, everything on this menu that has a star at the end is just basic member. So if we wanted to find somebody through the member list, we could click here. And of course, this wouldn't work if we weren't logged in first as a basic member. A guest could not click on there and access that page. But if we wanted to send a message to one of these people, or if we wanted to make a friend out of them, we could say add friend, and they would receive a friend request, or we could send them a private message. So let's say we wanted to send a private message to admin. So we could either just click on the profile up here and see the whole profile, or we could just click here on a private message. So if we clicked on private message to send a private message to the admin, then it opens up a new message, and we we could add additional friends here in addition to admin to the right of this, and we would type in our subject, test subject. This is a test private message. Okay, so that is how and then we click on send. We're not going to do that here, but that is how we would send that message. And notice it's being sent from our profile here. Now, after we send this, then the admin user will receive a 1 in their message box if they received a new message and they had none previously. And they would see a little circle up here next to the hamburger menu showing that they had received a message and that they need to go in there and check it. They would also receive a email, via email, if they had set their profile preferences over here under settings, if they had set it to receive emails when people send them a message, they would also receive an email when they received the private message from us. So that's how we send private messages. Now you might ask, what's the difference between a private message and a public message? A private message is one that only the destination user can read. A public message is something that everybody else in addition can read by looking at your profile. So if we sent a public message and they went to our profile page like here and they looked at it, then they would see it under messages. They could read it. They could read our mail if we specified that it was public. So let's go back to the member list again under participate members. And we can see here that you don't see public message in this list anywhere. So you have to actually click on the username to be able to send a public message. There it is. See, once we get into their profile, the admin profile, we can see there are some new entries here that you didn't see on your own profile. We can send a private message or a public message or add them as a add friend request, just like in Facebook. So once again, we have to go to the profile of the person that we want to send the public message to, and then, and only then, could we send them a public message. There's no other way we can do it. There's another important thing we want to talk about here, which is if we go to the hamburger menu again and we look at our own profile instead of the admin profile, then it will take us back to our own profile. And we can click on activity here, and we'll have a way to enter new status updates, just like in Facebook. So once this thing opens, we have what's new test user. So we can enter an update here about ourselves, just like in Facebook, to let everybody else know what's up with us. And then after we enter it, we click post update. And then people could read those things under messages right here. If they visited our profile, they would see it under messages as updates. And the other place they would see that update that we just entered is right up here under participate site activity, because that's the master site activity for all the users. So all the public messages and all the public updates end up in a long serial list here under site activity. So if we click on that, we'll see that. We'll see everything that's been happening on the site. There it is. So this is all the entries for everybody on the site, everything that's happened. And the other thing we want to emphasize here is this update block, which effectively becomes a public message. This update block should not be used, we repeat, not be used to ask questions, either of admin or anyone else on the site. And we emphasize that up here. We say, important note, please do not post questions on this page or to your member profile or in comment fields of any post or page. All questions must be posted to the appropriate and relevant member forum. If you disregard this warning, your question will be immediately deleted without notice to you. You must be logged in to post to the member forums. Forum topics reserved for member subscribers also require you to sign up to member subscriptions to view or post. You must also be a member subscriber and complete all the profile fields to friend SEDM admin, or your request will be rejected. So the only thing you should be putting in your activity here is information about you. No questions, no requests for help. All those sort of things should be done through other means. And by other means, for instance, we mean right here, the Contact Us page here, Contact Us page, but we emphasize that those entries to the right of the contact thing here, you should read both of those things here, both of these things carefully before you use the contact page. And the other place you can go to get help with your issue or a question is to the member forums itself and post your question there. But Which forum you can post your question in will be determined by your membership level, because certain types of help are not available to basic members. So you not only have to go to the forum to get your question asked, but you must also have the right level in order to post in certain subject matters, like dealing administratively with tax collectors is member subscription only. So if you want tax help, then you need to be a member subscriber. Otherwise, you need to go to a member-only forum, and there's a taxation area there, but other members will help you instead of us. And we do that because our resources are very constrained as far as the resources we have, and we need a way to be able to recoup the cost of providing those resources, because if we didn't do that, quite frankly, we wouldn't have a life, because so many people want free help, and it would just completely overwhelm our very limited staff. So let's go back to the home page. We can click on here, or we can click on here. So let's click on the house symbol, go back to the home page. This concludes our treatment of forum profile management and private messaging. We hope you've learned a lot from this presentation. Thank you for visiting and using the website, and we look forward to interacting with you in the future. God bless you.